Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment is being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com, the place where professionals and entrepreneurs go to grow their businesses and leave a legacy. I'm Mark Imperial, and in this special edition, it's another installment of the real estate market update. We've been visiting folks across the country and even across the border into Canada. And on this episode, I'm really in my own backyard in Illinois. My guest is Don. Can you pronounce your last name for me, Don? I don't want to smear
Prigge,
it.
P-R-I-G-G-E, Prigge.
Don Prigge, and he's a designated managing broker with Baird & Warner based out of Crystal Lake, Illinois, my backyard, suburbs of Chicago. Don, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Don, tell us about your business, your specialty, the type of folks that you specialize in helping.
I'm a managing broker, so therefore I don't sell, but I have 55 people that I oversee, so to speak, or help to sell. And we sell primarily, well, really everything residential, commercial, industrial. I have agents in the office that do all of it. So primarily bread and butter residential. Companies, Baird & Warner, we've been in business 165 years. We're America's oldest real estate company. And yet I would, in my opinion, the most progressive. So, but our specialty would be primarily residential.
So the biggest question on people's minds today is this pandemic and how it's affected the real estate markets. And there are a lot of folks that are, quite frankly, may have been thinking about buying or selling before the pandemic hit, and now they're kind of on the fence. What has this pandemic changed in our marketplace here in Illinois that you've seen, Don?
Well, I'd say from a real estate standpoint, everything and nothing. We had to, real estate historically is a little slow on the uptake for changes. Real estate agents and real estate companies. We had to learn in 5 weeks what we would have probably learned in 5 years. So it changed a lot. And yet it changes nothing because there's still buyers buying houses and sellers selling houses. But I think it changed the way we go about it. We do a lot more virtual now. We do virtual tours, virtual open houses. We've sold homes where the buyers don't see the house until the final walkthrough. Now, a lot of that isn't necessarily new because with transferees, a lot of that we've been doing for some time. But across the board, it changed, probably in March, or started anyway in March. So there's been some pivoting we had to do dramatically in those 60 days to figure out how to get, the average buyer that's not a transferee, not used to video and not used to doing the new way of doing business. Back in the game.
What did you find triggered these changes? Did you respond to the market and what they were asking for when this hit, or did you know what needed to change? What were people reaching out to you for, and what were their biggest concerns?
Well, obviously the sellers' biggest concerns were the availability of safety issues when buyers were coming through. How were we going to handle that? And the buyers have similar issues. We used to in the olden days, I've been doing this for 46 years. They'd get in our car, we'd drive them around the houses, have a good time, et cetera, et cetera. And none of this was a concern. And now, us getting in somebody else's car to drive them is somewhat of an antiquated way of doing business. We meet them at the house. We glove up, mask up, and clean the house and then clean it when we're done. We advise the sellers to do that. So that was their concern, was safety, was across the board for not only the clients but the agents as well.
I've been hearing across the country that people's reasons for moving or buying and selling have changed. Have you found different priorities in people's minds that they're not going to put their lives on hold and they're still going to move forward with real estate? Are there reasons changing?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the most recent changes has been the homes are now turning into classrooms, at least temporarily. And people are now essentially working out of the house. So the houses have become, the need for the house has changed. So a lot of the houses are not adequate for what the new life is holding, which is rooms for the kids for school, rooms for mom and dad, or mom or whatever, dad, whatever the rule is, to work out of the house. So the housing function has changed. A lot of people are now looking for larger yards because you can't go out, so to speak. So more place for the kids to play. McMansions are back because they need more space. Second homes are becoming real important because that's where they're taking vacations. Luxury homes have even increased as well. So the whole thing, pools are hip all of a sudden, for the same reason as the larger house and everything else, because you're spending more time at home. Lake property, large lots, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, the reasons have changed and the need is still there, but I think they're looking differently at how they're using the house, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Don, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Take us back to like how you got started in real estate and what inspired you.
Well, it's a long story. I'll shorten it. The long story short is that I had a knock on my door from my landlord in 1974, and I was living in a two units, upper and lower, and he wanted to know if I wanted to buy the building. After the laughter stopped, I said, how is that going to happen? I'm having a hard time paying the rent. And then he explained to me the process of me collecting the rent from the upstairs tenant and not having to make a payment. And I thought, well, that's really strange. And he worked out what we call an installment contract for warranty deed. That meant I had no money, so I would use his. And I bought the house for a couple $1,000s down. I collected the rent upstairs, had no payment, and started my buying spree based on that. And after I realized that it was so lucrative, because I bought a couple, 3, 4 houses on the street, I thought it was such a great idea. I started knocking doors and told them, when you want to sell, call me and I'll buy it. And I started from there. And after I started doing that, I realized, I think I have a new career. So I kind of stumbled into it.
I love that story, Don. So needless to say, you have a lot to share, more than just buying or selling a home. It sounds like you can help folks that want to start investing in real estate. You have a lot of knowledge in your head to share.
Yeah, thank you. I've worked every aspect of real estate in the last 46 years. I own a new construction company. I've done rehab before HGTV thought of it. Flipped shopping centers, hotels, whatever. Not a brag, just statement of fact. So been around a long time, and it's been lucrative. I think I'll stick. So.
Wow, I think you do have a book in your head. We were talking earlier. So Don, for folks that are maybe on the fence today right now, and now you've inspired them to maybe let's get going. And if they're in your area and could use your help, how can they find out more about you and connect with you?
Well, best way is the cell phone, I guess. Texting is always most appropriate. 847-915-5095. Or don.prigge@bairdwarner.com. That's the best way to get a hold of me.
Fantastic. Don, I really appreciate your time and sharing with my listeners today, and I wish you continued success. Thank you for sharing. I want continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you. Been fun. Thank you.
That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial. Until my next guest spotlight, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.